Alright, and of course, with Thanksgiving tomorrow, and since the first game would be at 12:30, not enough time to do my picks. As always, my Thanksgiving week picks are on Wednesday, as it's now time for my Week 12 picks of the 2020 NFL season. As last week, I went to 8-6, which is the fourth time this year I've gone 8-6. Oh my god, I have had terrible luck this year in that regard. Awful picks last week. And here's the current current stands and the playoff bracket the season ended today. In the AFC, Steelers have the bye with Raiders at Chiefs, Browns at Bills, and Titans at Colts. And the NFC, it's the Saints with the bye with Cardinals at Rams, Buccaneers at Packers, and Seahawks at Eagles. And my Super Bowl prediction is the Steelers and the Saints. No idea who I'd pick though. So now it's time for my Week 12 picks as we get to our Thanksgiving games. As we start off with the Texans at the Lions for the first time since 2012. The Texans won the last four. The Lions haven't beaten them since 2004. As the Texans actually beat the Patriots to my surprise. And the Lions got shut out by the Panthers, who weren't even starting Bridgewater, which was announced after I made my picks. Oh my god, that is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And how funny too, the last time Texans were at Lions, that was Thanksgiving too as well. Honestly, after the way they played last week, I'm picking the Texans to win this and just watch the Lions win it. And the Lions haven't won on Thanksgiving since 2016. They had like a four-game winning streak on Thanksgiving. Now they've lost 3 in a row, so nothing's going right for them. And then our last Thanksgiving game, which I'm going to get to here in a minute, is the football team at the Cowboys. As the football team won the first game earlier this year, the Cowboys haven't beaten them since 2019, and they haven't beaten them at home. The football team hasn't beaten the Cowboys in Arlington since 2015. So the football team managed to beat the broken Bengals after Burrow went down. And then the Cowboys surprisingly beat the Vikings to end their 4-game losing streak, to my stunned surprise. Because remember, everyone in the NFC least, despite the record, is in playoff contention still. So it can go either way. But of course, what's going to break the football team's god-awful offense or the Cowboys' god-awful defense? It's gotta be tough for them because the football team right now has one of the really good defenses right now. But of course, I wonder if that's more because they're going up against terrible offenses themselves. And of course, remember, the football team destroyed the Cowboys earlier in the year. So I'm trusting the football team more, so I'm going to pick them to get it. And then we get to our next Thanksgiving game, which I just found out is not going to be now, and that's the Ravens at the Steelers, as the Steelers try to go 11-0 for the first time ever. And there's actually a playoff clinching scenario for the Steelers. If they win and the Dolphins and Raiders lose, they will clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2018. Of course, if they beat the Ravens, they'll officially knock the Ravens out of winning the AFC North, as they have to worry about the Browns still. So, of course, this game is not going to be on Thanksgiving because of COVID crap for the Ravens. As the Ravens, oh my god, they've lost 2 in a row now. They tried to get the revenge from the Titans last week, but they still lost. And the Steelers did not disappoint against the Jaguars. They actually destroyed them. Well, about time for once you destroy teams that you're supposed to regularly destroy. Maybe you should do that for once. And of course, I saw the Ravens COVID exemption list, and unfortunately had a lot of really important players on it. Plus, the Ravens are struggling. Steelers are hosting. They're on a roll, so I'm picking the Steelers to get this. It's supposed to be on Sunday, so we'll see. And of course, that might affect the Thursday night game next week for Cowboys at Ravens. So then, it's the Dolphins at the Jets, as the Jets try to avoid 0-11 for the first time ever. And they are eliminated from the playoffs somehow, even though, according to my predictions, they should be still in the playoffs unless they lost to the Dolphins this week. But, of course, the Dolphins won the first game this year. The Jets haven't beaten them since 2019. As the Dolphins, I knew it was going to happen eventually. They lost to the Broncos. I knew they were going to finally lose to end that 5-game win streak. As the Jets, they got destroyed by the Chargers, but then all of a sudden they started to make the comment like, uh-oh, is the Chargers going to blow up? But the Chargers just held on to get the win. As you see, the Jets continue to be one of the worst in every single category. Now the Dolphins, though, you should not underestimate the Jets, as they're desperate to get their first win. And I will not be surprised if the Jets do beat them, but I'm going to pick the Dolphins for this one. And we go down the line as our next up is the Cardinals at the Patriots for the first time since 2012. As the Patriots won the last one, Cardinals haven't beaten them since 2012. That stunning upset in Foxborough that year. And the Patriots haven't beaten them at home since 2008. As the Cardinals lost to the Seahawks last Thursday night, and the Patriots choked against the Texans last week. Quite disappointing for them. Very important game for either one of them. Cardinals need to win to still maintain their spot in the wild card and to be competitive in the NFC West. The Patriots need to win to keep up and maintain a possibility of making the playoffs still, as it's not looking good for them. But I'm going to pick the Cardinals for this. But I guess I won't be surprised if the Patriots get their revenge and get the win here, as fix that. Alright, then it's the Panthers at the Vikings for the first time since 2014, as the Panthers won the last one. Vikings haven't beaten them since 2016, and the Panthers haven't won in Minneapolis since 2013. As the Panthers shut out the Lions, finally ending that 5-game losing streak, as they're still fighting to stay in the playoff race and in the division race. As the Vikings, oh my god, you blew it against the Cowboys after that 3-game win streak, you choked it. Oh my god, embarrassing, as they've already matched their loss total from last year, as it's not looking good for them. PJ Walker, whatever his name was, played really good last week, but now he's got to play a much better team against the Vikings than the Lions were. Now, of course, will the Vikings actually show up this time, unlike the Panthers? I'm still going to pick the Vikings for this one. I'm not sure I could trust the Panthers fully yet, especially since I have no idea if Bridgewater is going to be playing or not. Then it's the Browns at the Jaguars for the first time since 2014, as the Jaguars won the last 3. The Browns haven't beaten them since 2011 and 2008 down in Jacksonville. And the Jaguars will be eliminated from the playoffs if they lose, or the Dolphins, Raiders, Ravens, Patriots, a whole bunch of teams win. So nothing's going their way, as they've lost 9 in a row on the verge of matching their loss total from last year, as they got destroyed by the Steelers. Jeez, Jaguars, what happened about you showing up against a Steelers team, as they always struggle against bad teams? You didn't show up at all. And the Browns defensively held on to beat the Eagles to have a better season than last year, on the verge of getting their first non-losing season since 2007. As a defensive squabble. Now, of course, the Jaguars, they've lost 9 in a row, so it's going to have to eventually give, I would assume, for them to win a second game. And the Browns, they're not really playing that good. They barely beat the Eagles and Texans these last 2 weeks. And this is looking like an upset pick, but I'm still not fully sure I would trust the Jaguars, so I'm picking the Browns for this. But I won't be surprised if the Jaguars win it. Then a huge battle in the AFC South, as the Titans are at the Colts. As this is the AFC South lead on the line. The Colts won the last game Thursday night a few weeks ago. Titans haven't beaten them since 2019. The Colts haven't beaten the Titans in Indianapolis since 2018. As the Titans are trying to get their 5th straight non-losing season. The Colts trying to get their first non-losing season since 2018. The Titans beat the Ravens and showed that they're better than them, apparently, in overtime. And the Colts, very impressive victory against the Packers, although their defense could have played a lot better, just saying. So, once again, division on the line. Colts are playing much better, but don't underestimate the Titans. Just like last year you beat them when you visit them, but then they beat you last year, especially that weird game that was. I'm picking the Colts for this, but don't underestimate the Titans, Colts. Just saying. Then it's the Giants at the Bengals for the first time since 2012. The Giants have won the last game. Bengals haven't beaten them since 2012. And the Giants have never beaten the Bengals in Cincinnati. They've never done that once, which is incredible. So the Giants, off their bye last week when they beat the Eagles, as they're within 1 game of taking the lead in the NFC least, and the Bengals lost to the football team, and of course, Joe Burrow's out for the year, so nothing's going right for them, of course. Pretty much the entire year I picked the Bengals to get this, but after not seeing Burrow coming back now, and the Giants have been playing a lot better these last few weeks, I'm going to pick the Giants to get this and match their win total from last year. And then it's the Chargers at Bills for the first time since 2014. As the Chargers won the last 3, the Bills haven't beaten them since 2018. As the Chargers held on barely to beat the Jets. They were destroying them at first, but then they let them make the comeback, but they held on to get the win to end, what was it, a 3-4 game losing streak or something like that? as the Bills, off their bye last week when they lost, that comeback on the Cardinals, that Hail Mary, that sucks for them. Hard-fought game, but they just couldn't stop the Cardinals in the end. As this actually could be a trap for the Bills, because the Chargers, they see stat-wise, are not playing that bad. But I trust the Bills still more, so I'm picking the Bills for this. Then it's the Raiders at the Falcons for the first time since 2012, as the Falcons won the last 5. The Raiders haven't beaten them since 2000. They haven't beaten them in Atlanta since 1997. As the Raiders, oh my god, they had a hard-fought game against the Chiefs, but they couldn't stop Mahomes in the end, as I predicted. And the Falcons got destroyed by a Drew Brees-less Saints. Oh my god, if anything, I thought the reverse would be happening, as they got destroyed by the Saints. So the Falcons, they're inconsistent as hell. They're not choking games like they were at the beginning of the year, but they're still all over the place. And the Raiders played pretty damn good last week, even though they lost. So I'm actually going to pick the Raiders to get this, to finally end that losing streak against the Falcons, to match their win total as well from last year. Then we get to our 4 p.m. games, starting off with the 49ers at the Rams, as the 49ers won the last 3. Rams haven't beaten them since 2018, and the 49ers haven't beaten the Rams in the Rams haven't beaten the 49ers in Los Angeles since 2018. There we go, that's fixed. So the 49ers, off their bye last week when they got embarrassed by the Saints. That's why their defensive stats are more inflated. And the Rams, pretty impressive victory against the Buccaneers last Monday night, as they take the lead in the NFC West now in that regard, as they're playing pretty damn good. They haven't beaten the 49ers, though, in a couple 3 in a row now, so it's going to be a little bit of a concern for them, but I'm still going to pick the Rams for this. I won't be surprised if the 49ers get it. Then it'll be the Saints at the Broncos for the first time since 2012, as the Broncos won the last 5. The Saints haven't beaten them since 1994. That's how long it's been. God. So the Saints, I guess it's going to be like last year when Drew Brees was gone. They still win games, as they destroyed the Falcons last week with Taysom Hill. So they got like 1 or 2 more weeks to go without Brees. And the Broncos, like I predicted, they beat the Dolphins. I knew that Dolphin streak was not going to last much longer, and they finally beat them. So this looks like it could be a defensive rout. Possibly the Saints' stats are looking really good, especially since we saw what they did against the Falcons last week. So I'm picking the Saints to finally get this win, but I won't be surprised if the Broncos get it. And then it's the big outer conference matchup, as the Chiefs are at the Buccaneers for the first time since 2012. Buccaneers won the last 5. The Chiefs haven't beaten them since 1993. And the Chiefs beat the Raiders last week, and a close comeback as they got the revenge. Now they won like 5-6 in a row. And the Buccaneers, they lost against the Rams, and that was not a good loss whatsoever. That was pretty embarrassing, even though it was close, as they're trying to get their first non-losing season since 2016, improved from last year too, but I just don't see it. I'm picking the Chiefs for this one. Then it's Sunday night, which they should have taken out, as it's the Bears at the Packers, as the Packers won the last 3. The Bears haven't beaten them since... Actually, this is incorrect, as the Bears won the last 2. Bears haven't beaten them since 2018, and they haven't won in Lambeau since 2015, which was on Thanksgiving, funny enough. As the Bears, off their bye when they blew it against the Vikings last week. That was ugly. And the Packers, they lost a close one to the Colts, as they shredded that offense, but they just couldn't get it in the end. But of course, the Bears suck against the Packers, so I'm picking the Packers for this. And then it's Monday night, the Seahawks at the Eagles, as is the rematch from their wild card game last year. As the Seahawks won the last 5. Eagles haven't beaten them at home. Haven't beaten them since 2008, and they haven't beaten them in Philly since 1989, back when the Seahawks were in the AFC West. That's how long it's been. Now a question, the Seahawks, they beat the Cardinals convincingly last week. This is incorrect, as the Eagles, oh my god, they've lost 2 in a row now in ugly fashion to the Browns. Nothing's going right for them, as they're on the verge of having a worse season than last year, as their lead in the NFC East is starting to disappear on them. Not looking good in that regard. I'm picking the Seahawks, of course, obviously, for this one. Now, the question is, will it not be 17-9? As both games last year, the Seahawks won 17-9. My question is, will it not be 17-9 for once? So those are my picks for for week 12. I cannot wait for Texans at Lions and football team at Cowboys tomorrow, since we're not going to get Ravens at Steelers. So my picks: Texans over the Lions, football team over the Cowboys, Steelers over the Ravens, Dolphins over Jets, Cardinals over Patriots, Vikings over Panthers, Browns over Jaguars, Colts over Titans, Giants over Bengals, Bills over Chargers, Raiders over Falcons, Rams over 49ers, Saints over Broncos, Chiefs over Buccaneers, Packers over Bears, and Seahawks over the Eagles. So see you guys next time, which should be Thursday, but we'll see what happens if they maybe change Cowboys and Ravens schedule because of the schedule change they had to do for this week. But we'll see you next time.